for the questions. Pretty good. Courtney, sir, if people have not played season 2 yet, yeah, so maybe try to keep
keep the spoilers,
season 2
spoilers down.
Because dreams will be crushed if not.
Yeah, I think it's season 1.
Yeah, because when Lee returns as Superman, oh God,
whatever. Ask away.
So sorry.
Is that? I don't even think it's on. Yeah, just we can hear. Oh, there you go.
Okay. First, I want to say thank you guys for being here.
Welcome.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks.
It's our
We're
pleasure.
happy to be here.
And second, I love you guys and Wolf Among Us.
Oh, thank you.
When Toad came here crying, I was like, oh God. But okay, so to my question, can I ask both of you? It's kind
Sure.
of,
can't ask her.
okay, so with the end of season 2, and again, I'll try to keep these spoilers. They did the whole Clementine campaign to kind of promote it.
Yeah.
So, what is your guys' like David Miley, I guess, for you? Like, how did you interpret his character, or if you played the game, which you thought of the character in the long run, and how you interpreted his choices?
So you're talking season 1.
Yeah, season 1 for.
There's like a whole how would you play the mic?
Yeah, like how, I guess if you were to play it, or if you did play it, like kind of thoughts on his.
You know, I'm not quite sure. My tendency would be to try to make the good guy, nice guy choices. But very quickly you discover there aren't very many good guy, nice guy choices. And you're put into positions where you've got this bad choice or that bad choice. So, I don't know.
Fair enough. So then, moving to Clem, how was, my fun?
Well, it was tricky because without spoiling, but there are many choices in season 2, multiple. When I play as Clementine, I lean towards, I was just telling someone earlier, kind of the more sassy Clem.
Sassy.
Yeah. Not all things. Sometimes I do choose. That's the cool thing about this game is there's so many choices and there's so many emotional routes that you can take that in the situations where people are trying to kind of push her over or dominate or make stupid decisions, and she definitely speaks out. But then there are also times where she's sensitive, and God, I wish I could say so much. I do right now, but I can't. But that's my Clem.
Alright, but one last thing. All Lee's choices would be Clem-centric.
They should protect her.
Thank you. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So the season 1, and especially towards the end, probably one of the more emotional storytelling moments I've ever experienced.
Did you cry?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
the highest compliment.
But that got me thinking, just from a player's perspective, that brought me so much emotion. But as voice actors, how did, without actually saying what happened, but how did, when you got to the end and you were doing the recording for this, what kind of emotions were playing through you?
Everybody's played season 1 at this point, right?
Okay. But anyways, so at the end of season 1, when everything's going on, like what kind of emotions were stirring through you guys, and what kind of actually stuck afterwards, if anything?
Well, I think because we had lived with the characters so long, there was an identification that we both had that we didn't realize we had. And when I went into the final session for season, or for episode 5, and everybody's played through to the end of season 1, right? Okay. And Lee is saying goodbye to Clem. I went in with my usual actor thing, and okay, I'm going to be really sad. I'm going to, fake crying, an act. And I ended up really crying. I ended up really having these emotions, and I think part of it was because I identified with the character so much, and part of it was, oh Jesus, it's my last time to go pay me for this.
He's honest.
But it really got to me. It got to me. The storytelling was that good, the writing was that good, and I've been with the character long enough that I broke down and cried. And that's, when you're doing it, you're doing it by yourself. You're in a room by yourself and the director in another room. So she wasn't even there playing her part. I'm just, reading the lines and sobbing.
I at least had, you had recorded most of your lines, so they were at least able to play his lines in that scene into my headphones. So I was technically reading with Dave, and they also told us this was going to happen, I think around episode 3.
Yeah.
So it kind of like, and in those 3 episodes, of course, we just get stronger, and the bond gets,
Yeah.
and it was like, there was like he said, no effort at all to go in. And I walked in and it just felt like, normally we're all, laughing and
joking,
cracking
having a good
jokes
time.
and, doing like a really intense line, but then a second later, and this was just like, everybody was just like, all right, let's just do this. And it was just like, waterworks instantly. Although the pickup sessions were a little tricky. I had to go back to like a couple pickup sessions. I'm like, you're not gonna make me go through this again. But thankfully, we didn't have to do too much of that. So.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
First off, I just would like to say it's a great honor to have you guys at Sac-Anime, and I never thought of my local convention could get you guys, but
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We're honored to be
Honored to be
here.
here, thank you.
I have a question and also I'm not sure I'm gonna try asking, but I'm sure you guys are aware there's going to be a 3rd season of the game series. Is there any information you can reveal for if we have it at all?
I don't think TellTale Games
Yeah,
knows what's going to happen
I
in
don't
the 3rd
think they know
season
it.
of this. They're like, we're going to have a 3rd season.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a 3rd season.
What can we do now?
And if you've played up through season 2, and you've seen the endings, and it's kind of like, what are they going to do? So, unfortunately, I have no idea, and I don't even know if.
I wish we had an idea. I wish we knew, so we could say, well, I know, but I can't tell you.
Yeah, exactly. We could just harbor it.
And as far as I need you to say a line from games. Let's see now. For Eve, one of the scenes that really shocked me, but I thought was also memorable, was Lee having to chop his arm off, and I was wondering if Dave can reenact that.
I actually have to have a
Someone have a
knife. Cut it off.
And for Melissa, I'd like her to say a line from season 2. I think it's some lines like, I believe her line is, "Still not bitten."
Still not bitten.
I'm gonna pass on the shopping. I'll give you just a little bit.
Hi, it's a pleasure to have you guys here, and it's really nice to meet you.
Thank you.
When you're in the garage or whatever it is, when Lee and Clementine are, having their final goodbye,
Yes.
I think a lot of the things that Lee said really resonate with Clementine in season 2, especially one of the last pieces of advice that Lee gave her. What do you think the most useful piece of advice from that scene really stuck with her?
Wow. Don't trust. Even though, the zombies are all around, that's the least of your worries in so many ways. It's the living people that you encounter and what their motives are, and because everybody's desperate, and desperate people do sometimes really terrible things. So being able to protect herself, staying away from people as much as she could, and not trusting people too quickly, and knowing how to shoot that gun. I think those were the things that I would want her to take.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello there.
Hey.
Hey. Without spoiling anything, while giving us something to look forward to, I've been through season 2 already, but now that I know some people here haven't, what's your favorite episode from season 2?
Oh boy. God, they were all so different. I really liked it's really hard to say. The first episode was really cool for me just because it was such a transition of going from, having Lee and having him protect me to being out on my own and finding the character and developing a little bit older Clementine and a little bit more, toughened, hardened Clementine. That was a cool transition for me. So I'd say character-wise, that was definitely one of my favorites. But this last episode, again, just because of the emotional content in it, was a really cool acting experience as well. So I'd say 1 and 5, but I liked everything in between. It's all fun. It's hard to say, because it's such a. I never finish. I'm like, oh, that episode's gonna suck. You know what I mean? It's like the writers are so amazing, and they just give us so much greatness to work with. But acting-wise and character-wise, I'd say 1 and 5 had the most challenges for me.
I see. And Mr. Fennoy, I never heard, what's your favorite episode from season 1?
You know what? Hands down, episode 5. We were talking earlier, we found out Lee wasn't going to make it in season 3, and my first reaction was not good. But doing the work in season 5, I think one of the reasons the game won about 100 Game of the Year awards, and we were both nominated for numerous voiceover acting awards, was because of episode 5. And I got to go places emotionally that most voice actors in games never get to go to.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. I second that clapping. Hi.
I just want to say to everyone who already said thank you so much for spending your weekend with us.
Of course.
When I found out you guys were going to be here at my comic book store, I just broke down crying.
Oh.
So excited. I've got 2 questions for you guys. I had to write them down so I didn't tell them that. So, Melissa, you kind of mentioned this before with developing Clementine. But the amount of time Clementine has spent with Kristen and Lee is mostly outside of what players see. How did you piece together this older Clementine? And I have another question.
Well, it was interesting because vocally, I had to kind of submit. TellTale was, they were calling me after like, all right, what do you think? How can we, she needs to be like the basically a 16-year-old age and knowledge-wise, but still, needs to sound like Clementine. And I felt like at first they were pushing me to go even deeper, and I was like, oh, that's not gonna fly. She still needs to sound like Clementine. So I sent them like 7 or 8, like not auditions per se, because I hadn't already done the part. But who knows? I could have left like Julia Roberts as Clementine. Damn you, Julia Roberts. Anyways, so we finally nailed the voice that you hear now. Because she used to sound like this, and she was really, when she was a lot younger, and now she's about here. So it was just this transition of, it still sounds like her, but she's lost that little girl. Nice, I got so sidetracked I can't even remember what the rest of the question was. Oh, yeah, I know, that's funny. I'm like, maybe they should do like, you know, the 400 days. They should do like a 400 days of like, what did happen in that time period? Because honestly, I didn't really get much backstory to that as well. They're like, oh, you were with them, and then like some bad stuff happened, and there was like a baby, and now there's not. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a huge backstory on that, so I think that would be an interesting choice for them to
Cut to 3 years later.
yeah, exactly. But I honestly, it just I just harnessed the emotions of what I thought a young girl would go through in the zombie apocalypse. Year, what is it, like basically a year and a half after, or a year after our situation. So there wasn't a lot of backstory, but let's hope they do that in a DLC.
I really hope so too. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You did a wonderful
Oh,
job.
thank
I was
you.
really struck by episode 1, seeing a different Clementine. And she's still the same Clementine, older.
I really appreciate that. She's a very, very, very special character to me. We're like one at this point, so I love her just as much as everyone else hopefully does. So thank you.
Absolutely. And then I have a question for both of you. Now that both season 1 and season 2 are over, is there any interactions or actions that you would have liked to have seen? Not that it would have, if it was like it needed to happen, but something you would have liked to see between characters, or something that between me and Clementine that wasn't shown in the game.
I think the writing was very, very complete. Even though in season 1, Lee checks out, I think that really puts the button on it. I think, he's a guy that wanted redemption, and he fulfilled his mission. I wouldn't change that.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, they definitely, even though there are things that, Sam, if you haven't played this, won't spoil too much. Sam, I'm a little bummed in that scene. But then it's just The Walking Dead, you can't get attached to any character or want things to go more like rosy, happy.
Forget about happy endings.
Yeah, so they nail it down, and I of course would love for the Lee and Clementine story to have continued on, but it's why
But I
the game
can
wasn't.
figure out a way that Lee doesn't die.
Yeah, there's a kid.
It was a dream sequence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I have to say, I wouldn't change it any other way either. And Sam is super attached back to my name is Sam. So I'm gonna go with you, Sam.
Yeah, I know. My dog does not please.
Oh.
I covered his little eyes and ears.
My Labrador was not pleased.
Yeah,
Thank you so
I know.
much.
Yeah, thank you. Hi.
First off, again, just as everyone else has done, I want to thank you for taking your time out to come out here, Sac-Anime and everything.
You're
Really
welcome.
wonderful. First time coming here. And I'm really nervous, so my question might come out a bit jumbled, but.
It's all good. We speak jumbled.
But regarding both seasons, how would you say you felt about your interactions with each of the characters, like specifically when you first met Kenny? Yeah, I went there.
Like season 1, when we first meet Kenny.
When you first meet him, yeah.
Well, coming from Clem's point of view, since she's so innocent and especially at that age, I liked Kenny. I like Kenny. I'm Team Kenny. I'm just gonna say it. But I think Clem was kind of like, kind of liked everybody, wanted to give everybody a chance type of thing. So that was my interaction with Kenny.
Kenny and Lee had a very complicated relationship because they didn't like each other to begin with. Kenny's kind of a southern racist guy, and he doesn't trust anything or anybody everybody, and here comes this black guy with this white girl, little white girl that he's protecting,
She's not necessarily white.
okay, whatever she is. But there's conflict there, but at the same time, over the course of the episodes, Kenny and Lee are the two people you can really count on, and they have to count on each other. So in many ways, it's like, okay, Kenny was Lee's best friend and worst enemy. Frenemy, yes. But I think, you know, it echoes life. Lots of times you run into somebody that you don't get along with too well at first, and then you discover through time and doing whatever it is you guys are doing together that you do have a bond, and you do have a caring, and you come to an understanding of one another, and hopefully each of you grows some. And that's how I viewed my relationship with Kenny, or Lee's relationship with Kenny.
Okay. Regarding your end, you know, episode 5, with your interactions with, I know we just keep coming back to that. But Krista and Omi, how did you feel about them? Or like when you basically told them to take care of Clementine?
As a character Lee, or as Dave Fennoy?
Well, as yourself. As yourself, actually.
I don't think he had much choice but to, you know, she, in his eyes, is still a little girl, perhaps not ready. He's done as much as he can, but those are the closest two people that he has any semblance of trust with. So it's, look, if he had known Kenny was going to make it, that might have been a different thing, but that's all he had.
Alright, well, can't really think of anything else to say to ask or anything, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A friend of mine wants to know if the relationship between Lee and Clementine affected your real-life friendship in any way.
You know, we are friends. Now, we don't get to see each other a lot because she lives in Northern California. She lives in the Bay Area, and I live in Los Angeles. But what's funny is we didn't meet until episode 3. And I was in a recording session. I think you had a session after me.
Yeah.
And I was walking down the street, going to lunch or something. And Melissa just, hey, Dave Fennoy, hey, wow, I'm Clem. And I think we kind of, the project was so special. And people, I don't think everybody, well, maybe you do, because you're here. This was not only a very special project for the people who played it, but also for the people who were in it. I've been in a lot of games. I never felt compelled to meet all the other actors in a game that I was in. In gaming, you always work by yourself. So you don't tell them who you work with, you come in, do your part, go, and then the game comes out, oh, so-and-so was on it. But we felt this was so special that I got some people together and let's get this cast together, let's have dinner. And we started texting each other back and forth because wonderful things were happening that we'd never had in our career. You know, when you're an actor, what you want mostly is to work and do the work and enjoy the work. And when accolades start coming and you're nominated for awards and you're going to an award show and the game you're on or the project you're on is getting high critical praise and you're getting amazing critical praise, it's a little life-changing and it was really kind of, to coin a phrase from the 60s, it was blowing our minds.
Yeah, it was really cool to share that. We had that, I mean, we're super in it.
Yeah.
Like our characters are very close and it brought us very close as friends. And even before I met Dave, just working with his character and getting to know that character so much, I felt like it wasn't like an awkward, like, oh, well, let me introduce myself. It was just like, oh my God, there you are. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Yeah.
Now we can like hang out and be friends. You know what I mean? It's just such a cool experience. And season 1 with the cast-wise was, because in season 1, there was that group was like a strong group. I don't know if you guys noticed that, the difference in season 2, it's a little more like, I don't know about some of these people, but in season 1, the group, everybody had their defined place, and we were a strong group, and so we, as friends, it was cool to experience that together with everybody.
And oddly enough, just from that game, I've got several new friends that I might have met them and hey, how you doing? But now we're friends because of the shared experience.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I'm kind of going to go off the whole Walking Dead topic, get more personal with you guys.
Uh-oh.
Not too personal, I'm not going to go that far. But I was wondering, since you guys have done other characters, what has been your hardest characters to do and why?
Hardest, well...
Or which one's your favorite?
Unfortunately, it's going to bring me back to The Walking Dead. I mean, I've done so many. I'm on an animated series right now, actually, with Yuri Lowenthal, who's here, and Johnny Lowenthal. Anyway, that's totally off the subject. Which is so much fun. The series is called Space Racers, by the way, check it out. And that is just so much fun to have like this ongoing thing. But I have to bring it back to The Walking Dead, although there's actually been quite a few TellTale characters. Trixie Trotter in Back to the Future was a lot of fun because I got to do singing and play this kind of, a little bit of an airhead, and she talked like this. She was a lot of fun. But Clementine, and because of the depth of the emotion of The Walking Dead, it is by far, acting experience-wise, in the world of voiceover, it's been the most phenomenal thing.
I kind of sadly have the same answer. I've played a lot of characters, and in some way, my answer used to be, I don't like to say what my favorite character might be. It's like picking between your children. But for the challenge of playing the character Lee Everett, and the satisfaction that gave, and then the gifts that being a part of this project has given me, playing Lee Everett is by a long shot my favorite character.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, you're welcome. Thank you, you're welcome.
My name is Peter Parker from Daily View, and I have a couple of questions.
So your name is Peter Parker?
Come on, Spider-Man.
Where's your camera?
In my pocket.
All right.
From you guys doing The Walking Dead, how is it to transition to different games like The Wolf Among Us or things like that?
Well, the cool thing about transitioning anywhere within TellTale's games in particular is they're all episodic and dialogue based, so that's fun. If anything, playing Beauty and Toad Jr. for me was kind of cool because it wasn't as heavy. Well, Toad Jr. had some pretty heavy scenes, but it's just if you're talking about like transitioning into like other games, like I've done some like more actiony. I feel kind of spoiled, honestly, and I'm not trying to take away from. I love every job I get. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. But after doing episodic games such as The Walking Dead and Fables and all that, you do get a little like you go in and you record for a game and you're like, eh. I know that sounds horrible, but it's just.
Well, there's a certain satisfaction level you get from playing, from working with a script that is more challenging, that has more emotional areas to go, that you're interacting with more characters. On most game scripts, you have your greeting lines, your attack lines, your taunting lines, your I need help lines, I'm dying lines, and they can be said, short death, fast death, or slow death. They can be said to anybody. In the TellTale games, like The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, it's all relationship based. And how I speak to you is different than how I speak to her, different than how I speak to this guy over here, because the relationships are different. And that's so much more rewarding.
I also have a question. If you guys are going to be in TellTale's other games like Game of Thrones or Tales from the Borderlands.
We certainly hope so.
Yeah. We have to audition.
Yeah.
Just like everyone else.
I've done a couple things on Borderlands, some smaller parts, and I'm certainly hoping that they'll allow me to my
Yes,
English
quite,
accent
right.
on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's not like, it's kind of funny because people like assume just because like, oh my God, you're Clementine. Well, you're going to be doing all this stuff with TellTale, right? And I'm like, oh, I still have to audition.
Yeah.
If I'm not right for the part.
It's kind of when you're an actor, you know, and your mom calls, well, why don't you get on that TV show?
Yeah, how come you're not on the Simpsons?
Yeah, Mom, believe
Like,
me, I'd love to be on that show. It doesn't quite work like that.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, I have a question, kind of a basic one for both of you.
All right.
And it's more or less, how does working with Walking Dead compare with any other franchise that either of you have worked with?
Well, I mean, to be anywhere, I'm a huge fan of Robert Kirkman, the comic books and the show. I love the show too. So to be a part of that franchise in general is like amazing. It's an amazing thing. I don't know, kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. I've had the good fortune of being a part of a number of big franchises. Star Wars, and now there'll be a cartoon coming out next year, Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm a part of it. And,
We gotta talk. How do I know on Guardians of the Galaxy?
I've played Nick Fury and Spider-Man. I've been in a lot of big titles. But the Walking Dead world, this world that Robert Kirkman created, is unique among all these worlds. In many ways, it's like Star Wars, where you can have different adventures at different times with different players. Same thing with The Walking Dead. It's not dependent upon a particular character, it's dependent upon the set of circumstances. And it's really captured the imagination of the world. And to be a part of that, and especially to be able to play Lee Everett in episode in season 1 of this game that really has changed gaming, is undescribable.
It's really historical.
It's
historical, so it's
I'm incredibly fortunate.
And lastly, is there anything that we will be looking forward to seeing you two guys work together?
I hope so, yeah. You know, the only control we have over that is good auditions and then somebody else choosing to put us together. I think it would be wise. And gaming is becoming big enough that maybe they'll start doing the buddy movies. Of course, usually the buddy movies suck.
Vince Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah. There you go. There's an idea.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hope, I do, I always hope that, of course, even if we do book something, if it's an animated series, we could
Yeah,
work
for
together.
an animated series, we might get to work together, but
Otherwise-
once again, games.
Like, oh, I hear you're on the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And round 2, ladies and gentlemen. Back around for a second question.
Indeed. First, because I forgot to say it last time, thank you again for coming here Sac-Anime this weekend. Now, this question is that most voice actors, or a lot of the more experienced voice actors, didn't necessarily plan to be a voice actor. They kind of fell into it. How did you two end up falling into voice acting? And then, as a kind of follow-up to that, how did it's a simple follow-up. how did you guys end up getting involved with TellTale?
I always wanted to be an actress, I'll make this short. And well, it was 5 years old, I was watching Scooby-Doo. I mean, literally, that's how it started. I mean, I out of the womb, I think I was doing voices and always emulating the cartoons and, you know, just like characters for every stuffed animal in my life, everything, a voice, a character. I did stage, I did theater, but it's, even beyond that though, I didn't really put it together, that voiceover. I think The Simpsons, you know, yeah, realizing that, oh my God, Bart Simpson, that's a woman, and she's gonna do this forever. She's never gonna go through puberty, you know, like what a freaking cool, sorry, I almost dropped the F-bomb. What a cool career, you know? So that was kind of my first realization of like, wow, why don't I give this a shot? But it took some years of just being a teenager in early 20s and doing that whole thing. And then I got into it. I actually went to high school with my agent. So I have people are like, how do you get into voiceover? I'm like, stay in school, kids. You might go to school with your agent. But I mean, I did have an acting background, but I eventually I called up my agent at Stars in San Francisco and was just like, hey, you know, how do I get into this? And they just started bringing me in.
You would have been with that agent or another agent, whether you went to high school with or not.
Thanks.
I was a performer all my life too. I was a child actor in Cleveland on stage, and a musician. Then I was a disc jockey in San Francisco in the 80s, and that's when I kind of really discovered voiceover. Also, when I was a kid, I mean, I was imitating all the cartoon characters like a lot of kids do. And what you don't realize then is often you are preparing yourself for a career. But when I took some classes when I was in San Francisco in voiceover, and I was very fortunate, an agent who was teaching this particular class said, oh, you're really talented. If you ever come to LA, look us up, we'd love to represent you. And a few months later, the radio station fired me and the entire staff, and I moved to LA, and they signed me up, and then it's just been knocking on doors and auditioning, and I've had success, and I think like most actors, you're up and you're down, and you're up and you're down. Gigs come and go, and when you actually get hired to do something like the Walking Dead game, it's just bonus. And quick story, they had actually hired another actor to play Lee. They had recorded all of episode 1. And they listened back and they said, you know, this isn't working. And there was a guy in TellTale, Javier Espinoza, God bless him. He heard me on another game. I was playing a corrupt politician on their Law and Order game. And he goes, hey, you know, let's audition this guy Dave Fennoy. And they did, and the rest is history.
My first game, just to finish that too, was Sam & Max with TellTale. It was just an audition process, and I remember seeing the scripts come through, and I was like, ooh, these TellTale people. I mean, it was, so that's, you know, we just auditioned. But Sam & Max was my first gig with them.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you again.
Hey.
Where's your Clementine at?
I know, right?
Somebody had it on over there. Oh, there it is.
It is here, it's just not in my presence at this moment. It's in a golden box, being carried by, like, gods.
As much as I love Walking Dead, I just wanted to ask you guys more about voice acting. I'm always fascinated about how different voice actors get into character, because obviously it's a very emotional game. You know, there's a lot of scenes where you really have to be in the moment, so how do you work yourself up for that?
Well, I mean, it's just like any acting role, whether it be on stage, on camera, behind a mic. It's just digging into your emotions, and like with The Walking Dead, it wasn't that difficult because we spent so much time with our characters. But in other games, when you don't have a lot of time with your characters, it's, you know, it's just
Some
acting
characters,
101,
some
I
characters
guess.
are more multi-dimensional than others. Especially in games, sometimes once you have a voice and an attitude, that one voice, that one attitude works all the way through for everything. Not the same with The Walking Dead. I mean, there's whoever your character is has to go in a lot of different emotional directions. But it's knowing who that character is, what motivates that character, what does the character want, what is he afraid of, what does he love, what does he hate, how does he feel about himself, does he like himself or not like himself. Once you start answering all those questions and look at the relationships between this character and that, well, what's this relationship, then you start developing those nuances that really bring a character to life.
Did they group a lot of your lines together based on the mood of them, like a lot of sassy lines
No.
together? Really?
No.
That must have been hard to...
You know what? People could say that all the time, and once again, I think real people can shift from day to night like that. How many times have you been really happy, you're talking with somebody, and somebody says the wrong thing, and now suddenly you're not happy? It can happen like that. And that's all it is tapping into those real human emotions and letting that come through.
It was kind of fun actually,
Yeah,
too. There was almost this cool challenge with it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, all right, let's do all like the, you know, the grumpier lines, and then we'll go to the nice lines. Like you're literally bam, bam, bam. So it was kind of this fun, you kind of get into
A
it.
wonderful acting exercise.
Yes,
Must have been a
yes.
couple of times where you laughed during a death scene or something sad like that, trying to get into character.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of joking around.
There's
shall
been,
we say.
yeah, there's the outtakes.
Calm down so I can say goodbye.
Yeah, if we had the outtakes,
Oh, man.
we had our hands on
I'm
those, you
not
guys
sure
would
we
be,
can play the outtakes in a family-friendly environment.
Yeah, I know. I said something on Twitter recently. I think I said like, shit, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Sorry if I offend you. And someone literally got like kind of upset with me because they were like, you know, that's not, no. And I'm like, okay, you do realize it's the scene from Extras where Ian McKellen is like, you do know I'm not a wizard. You know, I did not make up these words. Anyways, whatever. So.
I can honestly keep your brain so long. I'm so passionate about this game. I have a blog about it. So
Nice.
I love it so much.
You were the one on Twitter. She's like, don't say that word. Oh, cool. Oh, yay.
I have a question again, one for each of you. In the TellTale's Twitch playthrough, which you both got to be part of, in episode 4's playthrough, Gary would have mentioned that Dave, you read the script and your first response that you said to him was, does your mama know you're writing this?
I had a few more expletives in there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we were in studio, I read the line, and it was I don't know who knows who Gary Wood is, but he swings back and forth between game writing and movies.
He did the
film.
Book of Eli and After Earth.
Yeah. And it was a particularly grisly scene and lines, and I said something to that effect. Does your mama know that you are writing this stuff? I was much more colorful.
And then my other question, I wouldn't necessarily call this a spoiler or anything because this was in the episode 5 trailer for season 2. What was it like playing with that young Clementine again?
That was like, oh my god, the trailer killed me. That trailer, I think that trailer deserves awards. I was like calling Sean, just like, dude, what have you done? That's a brilliant. One of the writers, Pierre Chorad, came up with that idea to do the flashback to Clem at her treehouse with the babysitter and her talking to her mom on the phone and recording it. Of course, I knew it was a cool concept, but when I saw it and with the other voiceover, I mean, I was just sitting there like, I mean, I was like super emotional because that trailer just in general was It was all encompassing. It was like season 1 to where we are, and just that final shot where they compare little Clem's face, and all of a sudden it's like older Clem in the snow, and you're just like, oh my god, I still get goosebumps. He did such an amazing job with that. That was it was really cool to. I got to visit the younger voice a couple of times that season. So they're like, do you need us to play you a sound file to match? And I was like, no, I got it. So that was cool. That trailer was, I thought was amazing.
I thought you did a wonderful job, not only portraying Clementine, but really portraying the child, and I thought whoever animated it did that really well.
Yeah, I will pass that along to
She
you.
really felt like I babysit and I'm a child care, and it felt like a lot of different conversations I've had with kids.
Right.
Really that common conversation, which is
Yeah, like, look at the raccoon.
it was just brilliant. It was wonderful acting.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
If our moderator were here, he'd say we have 9 minutes, so let's move it along.
Hey there. I was thinking of we or Clementine appearing in Poker Night at the Inventory 3, putting up $20,000 to play a game against King Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
I can
And
pass that idea along.
As long as he can drink that glass of wine first.
And I was wondering, how much leeway do you have when you're in the voice booth?
With the script,
Yes.
sometimes you're saying it as soon as you're recording. As a matter of fact, the majority of the time, right then.
Yeah, it's. You mean like with like ad-libbing or improvising lines, that kind of a thing?
Either one.
Yeah, no, it's it just depends. A lot of people are. I've had in interviews people ask me questions like, oh, like what line did you like add, or did you have anything that you did as yourself to add to the script? And I'm like, not really with their stuff. not
Very,
so much.
very little.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the same experience I had in season 1 with line after line after line after line after line. And very rarely do you have to change anything. You know, some lines you change a little bit, and maybe ad-lib something, twist something a little bit, but for the most part, the writing was just good.
Yeah, it was insanely good. I have worked on projects before,
Yeah,
and of course my brain always freezes. Like, oh, you know what? This next take, just give me like, just start ad-libbing lines, and I'm like, it's not my job. No, I mean, I freeze. I like to say that ad-libbing sometimes is not my strong point. But so certain voiceover projects, they will have you just ad-lib and go for it. But with TellTale, they have those scripts pretty well nailed down to perfection.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
So my question is the game set in the same universe as the comic books or the TV show?
Say that again, the game is,
Is the game set in the same universe as the TV show or the comic book?
they're
Comic. Well, the comic book is based. I'm sorry, the TV show is based off of the comic book. You know,
the
taking
graphic
liberties.
novel.
Yes, the graphic novel. The Kirkman, I don't know if he does. I mean, Skybound is involved with what TellTale does. Of course, they have to get permission. You know, they can't just like, we're going to do what we're doing.
He gets to approve everything.
Yes, he gets to approve everything. But there were a couple of crossover like Herschel and Glenn.
Herschel, yeah.
But otherwise, same universe, same timeline, just different group of people. So, I mean, theoretically, people always ask if
Would
there'd be
there
a
be
That's
crossover.
one of the
characters
brilliance of The
introduced?
Walking Dead.
Would there be a chance for other characters to be introduced later on? I have not played the second game.
Into the, like, from the comic book, or just like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they'd have to, Robert Kirkman and,
I doubt that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're following much of the graphic novel in the TV show, and they're introducing characters from there. And I hope Ezekiel and I hope I get it. But you know, the game is a whole different group of people, whole different experiences. That's not to say it couldn't happen, but so far, not really.
right. Thank you. I like your outfits for League of Legends. You're back.
Okay, so since you said you like Robert Kirkman's work,
Yes.
have you read Invincible?
No.
But, yeah, I wasn't sure because that's another great one he does.
I will check it out.
Awesome stuff for that one. So then, alternative question. So besides the death of Lee, right, trigger chakra, what other plot point or story arcs within the first season like caught you guys off guard, really surprised you that happened?
I guess, I don't know if it's surprising, but the whole Duck Kenny Katya thing,
Yeah.
that was a really like, I don't know, gritty, that would be my other heavy moment to go through, although I really liked Chuck, short-lived as he was, I liked Chuck. But yeah, probably the Kenny Katya Duck scenario.
It all got me.
Yeah, I know. It really is. Oh, and the eating of the human. Anyways, yeah.
Clem, don't eat that.
Okay, I have a couple of stupid questions.
Yes.
You guys will follow through. How do you guys like karaoke?
I love karaoke, especially a couple drinks in. I'm like, try to take the mic away from me.
Okay, have you guys heard the song Take On Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you sing it?
I hate karaoke.
I'll pass. Believe me, don't want me to sing it.
What are you wanting? What is your desire?
Do you have some kind of weird bet with somebody?
Maybe.
In the character voice?
Yes.
Oh God. You know how high that song gets?
It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen.
I'll humor you. If I can. You just let me know. Oh, but I don't know all the words. Alright. Can we just get to the take on me part? Let me know when it gets there. Almost. Nope. Oh. Yeah, if somebody had the words. Take away. Oh, wait. This is not really in the range. It's a little low for her. Today's I don't know the words. Okay. Take
I tried to hit those notes and heard something.
You're welcome. You're the last one. I mean, not in life or anything like that.
Like everyone else, I'd like to thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
And, well, my question is, in season 1, I understood kind of Clementine's background, but with Lee Everett, I didn't really understand. I mean, if you know his background, before he ended up in the police car, what had happened? I never understood, did he kill the person that was sleeping with his wife or not?
Yeah, he was a college professor who found his wife cheating, killed them, and was on his way to prison, and feeling very much like he was a failure in life. And, well, you know, when you kill your wife. And oddly enough, it was a zombie apocalypse that gave him a chance at redemption. And by meeting this little girl whose parents had gone on vacation and left her with a babysitter, by meeting her and taking on the challenge of protecting her, he was able to redeem himself.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic redemption story as far as the character Lee.
And it's interesting, you don't have to know that to enjoy the story. You obviously did. But that was the information as an actor that I needed to know and that I got.
Motivation.
Motivation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming today.
I think I can speak for both of us when I say that we are just overwhelmed with how much people love this game and the characters that we have played, and that you actually have an interest to hear what we have to say about it. It's a beautiful thing, and we're very appreciative.
Yeah. Yes. What he said. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. We'll be here all weekend. We're doing another tune-in tomorrow, so if you have anything else you want to ask, you can come back and ask it.